Finally today, cow-calf producers may be looking at the potential of some significant profits for 2023 due to high calf prices. With a possible influx of income, many producers might have the rare opportunity to invest capital back into the operation. With the opportunity to catch up with a Nebraska Extension educator at this year's Goodman's Sandhills Laboratory to discuss this topic. Here's our conversation. Joining us today is Extension educator Aaron Berger. Aaron, great to see you here in person.
Thanks for the opportunity to be on.
Well, in the cattle market, it seems like there is certainly a cycle. Some years, producers making money. Other years, that's not the case. But in those years where the producer has the opportunity to make some money, you note in a recent article, there's maybe a few things to consider investing in. I guess what were a couple of the obvious things you wrote in your list of areas to invest in?
Yeah, so I think, obvious for a rancher is thinking about water development, and that's really critical to a good grazing system. Thinking about things like infrastructure, things like your working facility, looking at your load-out facility, things like that you use frequently. Thinking about the comfort and care not only of the cattle, but the people handling those. Those can be really, I think, valuable pieces. And one thing that's really gotten my attention recently is the availability of technology to monitor water now, whether that's cameras or pipeline monitors. Those can be really valuable, especially in people where they have to travel quite a ways to check their water. Can really be a major savings. And so if you got a little extra cash, that might be a place to invest.
A couple of wireless systems out there too we've had the chance to feature. So definitely some innovative products on the line. What are some of the not so obvious areas you want to remind producers, hey, this is an area you can invest into?
Yeah, I think really in my mind, people, and that doesn't necessarily come to mind right away, but if you think about your ranch business, its purpose is to support people, the owners, the people that work there, and the people that get the product. And so think about the opportunity to reward those people who've been part of your operation when you have the opportunity to do that. And then also think about what's the educational opportunities for them to develop their skill set, help them become more effective at their role. Another thing for me is just, maybe there's an opportunity to think about, could we go do something different with our operation? Let's take a little bit of that cash we have and maybe go make a trip. Let's go see somebody who's doing something we're interested in. That on the ground, hands-on experience can really give some insight into maybe this is an opportunity we should consider. Here's somebody who's done it. Let's learn from them.
Producers in that position where they're blessed to have a good year, maybe have that opportunity to have some profits to invest, they come to you and say, hey, I'm open to investing in some new technology. What's the best ROI? Is there a good answer to the question?
Yeah, everybody's ROI is going to be different really depending on their situation. My bias is Nebraska grass is really valuable. And so I think you really want to look at what are the resources available that I could utilize to improve my grazing system, whether that's water development, fence, things like that. From a ranch perspective, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Another one for me, I think, is just thinking about, can you strategically position yourself to maybe buy some commodities in bulk? And sometimes some storage or some things like that can give you an opportunity to buy seasonally and take advantage of that. So there's a lot of different ways to look at that. Honestly, I think the biggest return on investment is in yourself. Take some time to, what are some things I can do to develop my skill set? Maybe it's a business plan, a state plan. Those are sometimes things we don't think about automatically, but can really have some long-term value.
Mm-hmm. Good reminders. Back on the people front, investing in your people, the producers, cattle producers I'm friends with, sounds like that's one of their key challenges is keeping good people around. Any tips you can offer our viewers today of maybe some success stories you've heard, things that might help develop people and have them stick around as hired help?
Yeah, so I think one of the things in my mind is, can you give them in some way some ownership as part of what they do, where they feel like they have a vested interest in it and they get to be part of some decision making. Obviously, that's not the person that comes along right away, but long term, if there's the opportunity to do that, they're part of the team, they're part of the group that gets to make decisions. I think that has some value. For some people that looks a lot different, but those are some things I think are important. And I think, I had a conversation with a rancher the other day. They're taking some of the profits this year and investing in employee housing, just because, oftentimes on ranches, we're waiting for that opportunity. And this is a year where they're doing that. So thinking about things that could have value for the employee, maybe beyond just wages, that could be some incentive for them to be part of the team that you put together there on your ranch.
Good things to think about. Aaron, really appreciate your time here on Market Journal.
Thanks again for the opportunity.
Now, if you're interested in learning more about some different ways you could invest those profits, Aaron has a lot of resources online. You can check out his Beef Watch article and also listen to a podcast over at beef.unl.edu.